and also a little story about saying during my days as a journalist, as an editor with Vanguard and Daily Trust. So, sir, I want to appreciate you for all the good work that you're doing. And I also want to appreciate the prof for that eloquent presentation. Prof, you have widened our knowledge about AI. And I think what prof has done is something that we all have to go back to and read all over again. If the presentation can be made available, we have to go back to actually understand the import of what prof have said this morning. All the panelists that have made their contribution. And so, how can AI support faith-based organization? So that is one area that I'm going to actually intervene. Like Paul told us, when Jesus said that we should go to the world, the gospel, the cyberspace is now part of that world for us as believers. And because the cyberspace is part of our world, we need to actually employ the technology which the cyberspace. So one of the areas that we can use AI for our group is number one, we can use it to develop social media content. There's some content that are specially meant for the social media. And with the help of the AI, you can come up with content that will be tailored toward the audience that you have on the social media. For instance, if you use the ChatGPT, you can simply just ask and say, give me a social media post on holiness, and it's going to give you so many examples. So all you just need to do is to personalize it, to now look at a way to actually make it to have more meaning. And also, you can also use it to repurpose sermons. Now, for those of us that work in the media space, we know that people no longer have that attention span to listen to sermon of 60 minutes, 120 minutes. So with AI, you can actually command your AI and say, okay, this is a sermon that is maybe 2,000 words long, just like the presentation of Paul. If I can get the Microsoft format, I can ask AI and say, can you reduce it for just 500 words? And I'm going to have that. And with that, you can actually because if you're able to shorten it, and you can also do it maybe for visual, for audio, and for video. So that is also one area that we can also, and you can also suggest blog post articles. What are the ideas? What are the things that we want to post on our blog, on our website? Not to write, but we can use it to generate the ideas. To ask what are the type of ideas, what are the things that people want to read? Because it is based on algorithm. It has been able to simulate data. So, and it is aware of what people want to read. So it can actually give you the ideas. And people want to read about holiness and all this. So you can then begin to tailor your post in that area. And you can also use it to personalize content. Because, for most of us that we do Google search, you notice that sometimes after you have made some random search, then adverts that are related to that keep popping up on your browser. It's because the AI has been able to capture that this person is interested in getting a new phone. So then you keep seeing adverts that are related to phones. So it is also the same way for us to be able to generate personalized content for believers. So if a believer has been searching about, for instance, about the gospel of Jesus, he has been searching about that. So with the use of AI, we can personalize the content that will be tailored towards that person. We can also use it to generate images. So maybe if you are not a graphic artist, you don't know how to do the design, you don't know you want to design a flyer, AI can actually be used for that. So there are some AI tools where you can just tell him and say, okay, we're going to have these are the people that we are going to have on the panel. So design a flyer for this, and it's going to do that for you. So AI can also do that. AI can also help us to convey complex theological and historical content. Now, there are some theological concepts in the Bible that for people that are not believers, it might be difficult for them to actually understand. But with the use of AI, you can tell the AI to actually simplify it. And the AI will be able to do it in a way that will be simpler than maybe what, you know, maybe what the eminence would have preached, but in a more, you know, more like in a language of the youth that they will be able to actually understand. In fact, there's a testimony about a YouTuber, Siraj Raval, who claimed that he became a believer after he spoke with AI Jesus. There is actually an AI Jesus whom you can speak to, that you can ask questions. You can ask him question and say, Jesus, I'm facing this. Can you advise me? And he's going to speak to you. It has been automated. And he actually said that was how he became a believer. So these are things that I think the body of Christ needs to actually look at. Like I said, AI can answer questions. There is no question that you put on AI tools that they cannot answer. No question at all that the AI cannot answer. Also, you can also use it to automate tasks. There are some tasks that we do that are routine, that we do them like maybe every day. So there is a way we can use the AI to actually automate some of those tasks so that you don't have to do them, so that you can concentrate on the more urgent tasks. So these are some of the ways that we can actually use them. AI and counseling. Yes, AI can actually do the work of a counselor. In fact, there is a study that was done in the US, and it was discovered that most youth now are now turning to AI to actually advise them on relationship, on family issue, on their career. And that is why I agree with Prof. That communication is not about spreading of information. It's about spreading love. And that is why faith-based organization, we need to ask ourselves the critical question: are we just spreading information, or we are spreading love? So if our youth begin to ask AI about their relationship, it shows that we have created a vacuum where they no longer trust our knowledge, or where they have not seen the love in us to be able to confide in us. And that will take me to some of the ethical issues that we need to start addressing. Just as we know that based on available algorithm, is based on the data that has been supplied to the machine. The machine on its own cannot think. The machine on its own, just like Prof said, cannot think. So if the algorithm that we have is biased, need to think of how we can populate. AI is not a fast checking tool. AI does not know what is false from what is true. AI is based on the information, the data that it has been supplied. So if the data is false, but that is what has been populated on the machine will obviously give it back to you. So I think faith-based organizations need to take it more seriously to make sure that we populate the correct information about our faith, so that when the machine is being fed, it can be fed with the right information. And I think this is very important for the future of our youth. Where I'm a youth pastor with the Gospel Faith Mission International, and that was why I was so much interested when I was giving this invitation, because I know this is what we need to do. Especially, for instance, like I make mention of, our youth are beginning to ask AI about their relationship. If the information, that part, if they ask information about Jesus and the information is false, they will believe it. So I think we have a responsibility as a body of Christ to ensure that we populate the AI with the right info. And I think these are some of the things that we can do that will help us. So thank you so much. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Alade, for your intervention. May I call on the moderator? Okay.
We thank our panelists for your interventions. And I think you can see that we've really stepped down to some of the issues that Prof raised. AI transforming the church, according to Sister Osho, and we have seen how that is being transformed in the church. We thank Mr. Lade's very passionate, energetic, and convincing. And I think you can see that we've really stepped down. And you see the ideas that he has given to us, some of the issues that we can go home today now, and we can have very AI transforming the church, according to and the challenge to we have seen how that is going to connect that being transformed for the church. We thank our that is morally neutral, and it all begins with who is the innovator. The ideology of the innovator informs the data thrown up by any of these artificial intelligence assistants that we are using. And we know that a lot of those innovators are not morally neutral, are not believers. So whatever they throw up is neutral when it comes to faith. The ideology of people have said, and some of us have seen it, there's what you call algorithm of these ideological bias. There are certain terms and we know that a lot that you will never get the answer are not morally neutral. For instance, if you type something that's very morally unquestionable, let's say same-sex or homosexuality, people have said put it on Gemini or put it on Bing, the answer it was going to give you, take it as wiped out everything about faith. So if faith-based people who are not innovators to go there and counter with its own context that will impute in its own algorithm some of those things that are being cited, then you see a lot of activities are going to be consuming those anti-faith materials on the internet. So that's why I say the possibilities that are available. And if there is one principle that innovators must use, is that what Father Ubodejin has said? The infinite dignity of the human person. Echoing that recent document from the Dicastery for Doctrine of the Faith, Dignitas Infinita. That's a fundamental principle. Any innovation that contradicts or violates the infinite dignity of the human person is not authentic. So those are the issues that they've thrown out to us. So I want to leave the floor to you for your questions. I have loads of them, both the Prof and the rest, but I will step down my own, and then you have been listening to us since. I want you to have the floor. Infinite dignity of the human person is not authentic. So those are the issues that they've thrown out to us. So I want to leave the floor to you for your questions. I have loads of them, both the Prof and the rest, but I will step down my own, and then you have been listening to us since. I want you to have the floor. Infinite dignity of the human person is not authentic. So those are the issues that they've thrown out to us. So I want to leave the floor to you for your questions. I have loads of them, but the Prof and in less than a minute. And then you.
My name is Abdurrahim Izofa. I am a 200 level student in Veritas University, Abuja. So my question is going to the third speaker. You mentioned using AI in journalism when it comes to creating news content and so on. So I think a part you missed out was highlighting plagiarism. Because like you said, AI is being trained on a large amount of data sets. And it's that data that is used to. So my question is going to the third speaker. So when it comes, you mentioned using AI in journalism when it comes to creating news content and so on. So I think a part you missed out was highlighting plagiarism. Because like you said, AI is being trained on a large amount of data sets. And it's that data that is used to. So my question is going to the third speaker. So when it comes, you mentioned using AI in journalism when it comes to creating news content and so on. So I think not to miss out on highlighting the journalism. Because, like you said, AI is being human feedback. So if it's human love and it's that data that you support in it, you're giving your feedback and the AI goes back to train more and become smarter. So that's why you see AI systems are gradually becoming like smarter, and even these youths, even though they are humans, they are innovators that trains this data with their own personal belief and so on, from the feedback that is being given to the you're giving your feedback and the AI goes back to train more and become smarter. So that's why you see AI systems are gradually becoming like smarter, and even these youths, even though they are humans, they are innovators that trains this data with their own personal belief and so on, from the feedback that is being given to the you're giving your feedback and the AI goes back.
He said that AI technology, it can literally do everything and anything. And yes, we're talking about the positive aspect of AI, which is to help us. But if AI can help us with anything and everything, at a point, maybe in the next 10, 20, 30 years, it's human beings might just solely depend on it, making us lazy and uncreative. So how is that a positive aspect? Yes, it's human beings might just solely depend on it, making us lazy and uncreative. So how is that a positive aspect?
Sorry, mine isn't really a question, but like a contributor. My name is Orisa Manuela, 100 level student, Veritas University. So my contribution is to what he said about the positive impact of AI. Sorry, mine isn't really a question, but like, there's a projector that helps non-Catholic who attends mass. Like, let me say how very behalf of Nigeria, it being projected on the projector that every could have sorry, mine isn't really a question, but there's a projector that helps non-Catholic who attends mass. Like, let me say how very behalf of Nigeria, it being projected on the projector that every could have sorry, mine is really a question, but there's a projector that helps non-Catholic who attends mass. Like, let me say how very behalf of Nigeria, it being projected on the projector that every could sorry, mine is really a question, but there's a projector that helps non-Catholic who attends mass. Like, let me say how very behalf of Nigeria, it being projected on the projector that every sorry, mine is really a question, but there's a projector that helps non-Catholic who attends mass. Like, let me say how very behalf of Nigeria, it being projected on the projector that sorry, mine is really a question, but there's a projector that helps non-Catholic who attends mass. Like, let me say how very
sent online. And whatever these young minds try to consume or try to search, if it's personalized and tailored, it will derail a lot of things. My question is this: have we thought of the overdependency on technology, bringing this into the church? Number two is threats to teachers' jobs, because I'm a teacher right now. These are my students in Louisville. What's the threat to teachers' jobs? And something you said, language of the youth. The youth don't share the same ideology and language as their teachers do. And if we allow them access to this, we'll lose a lot. My third and final question is, AI, have we thought of how it dehumanizes religion and learning experiences? My student just made something, she just asked a question about AI their teachers do. And if we allow them access to this, we'll lose a lot. My third and final question is, AI, have we thought of how it dehumanizes religion and learning experiences? My student just made something, how to treat the dehumanization involved with AI. Thank you very much. To use a lot, father or somebody. My third and final question is, AI, have we thought of how it matters? Should not be looking at religion and learning experiences. My student just wants to make something, how to treat the dehumanization involved with AI. Thank you very much. Just to use a lot, father or somebody. My third and final question is, AI, have we thought of how it matters? Should not be looking at religion and learning experiences. My student just wants to make something, how to treat the dehumanization involved with AI. Thank you very much. Just to use a lot, father or somebody. My third and final question is, AI, have we thought of and learning experiences? My student.
Mr. Lade, you have a lot. Detecting plagiarism, AI assistance and relationships. If AI can do everything and anything, is that not going to make us lazy or independent, over-dependent? And how do you say that is positive? Okay, transforming of worship, chatbots, the AI Jesus. What are you to say to that? Is that not idolatry? And then the impact of AI in education, is it not going to make us lazy? I think I'm going to put those two questions to Professor Akinwale and Sister Osho. You are teachers, and teachers are, so maybe you also say something on laziness and AI and plagiarism. And how do you detect? Because a lot of our students use ChatGPT and Gemini to write assignment for us. How do you detect AI-generated texts? Because that's a new thing about plagiarism. And personalized over-dependency in technology and language. So, Mr. Alade, you have a lot of work. So I'll give you maybe 5 minutes to see if we can say one or two things before I come to Professor Akinwale and Dr. Osho.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And thank you for this question. So I will try as much as possible to provide the answers that I can provide. And I know Prof and other will help me with others. So on the issue of plagiarism, what I said about AI is that you can use it to generate ideas. But I say don't use it to write. Don't use it to write it. You can use it to generate the idea. So if you are using it to write your assignment, what you are doing is ethically wrong. And if it is detected, you can be sure that you will be weighed down by your teacher. So I think what you need to do, what I said was that you can use it as a means of generating an idea, but not actually to write. And because one of the limitations of the AI is that it lacks emotion. So AI will not be able to help you to provide the answer that you need in the context that you want it. It can give you a general overview.
So, and a good teacher will be able to detect and know that this is a general view of this topic. So, AI won't be able to cite the same example that your teacher cited in class, you know. So, there are some limitations. So, the issue of plagiarism is there. We have seen a lot of even senior members, people that have done their masters, that have been called out for actually using AI to do their projects. So what I think is that you can use it to generate idea, but you cannot use it to actually write. So, and related to that is, I never said that AI can do everything. I said it can provide answers. And you should know that answers, the fact that somebody can provide answers does not mean that those answers are accurate. But if you type anything on AI, it's going to give you answer for whatsoever query that you have made mention of. But just as Father said, there are some issues that have to do with our faith that AI bias has automatically wiped out the aspect that has to do with Christianity. So for you. So there is no machine that will be able to do that. And about you giving feedback to AI, yes, it has to do with your level of knowledge. So it is good if you are knowledgeable enough that when the AI give you a particular cancer, you decide to take it or not to take it. But studies have shown that most people that use AI actually depend on the response from the machine. And that is where we have the problem. So if at every time that you seek for solution, you go to a machine to provide that answer, you will begin to depend on that machine. And it is something that is bad. Studies have been done in Europe and in US, and it has been shown that this is detaching the youth from their parents, from their spiritual leaders, because now they depend on this. And like I said, ethically, I said this is wrong. That was when I made mention of the AI Jesus. That somebody developed an app, loaded it with data, that basic question that you ask, that machine can actually provide answers based on what they have loaded that machine with. But that has taken away that human relationship. That has taken away the correct relationship that we need to have with our spiritual leaders. So, and that was why I was saying that faith-based organization, we need to begin to look at this. The reality is that we cannot stop our people from getting access to these machines, but we can correct them. We can make them to know that there are limitations. And that was why I spoke about love, just as Paul said, so that our communication should not be limited to sharing of information alone. We need to put that human face to it, where our disciples know that if I go to my spiritual leader, he will be able to counsel me in the right way. He won't just give me a general overview of what I have asked. So, and totally, I am against tools like AI Jesus and Co. because they are limited. They are limited based on the information that has been provided. And it is not good for our faith. And I believe faith-based bodies need to look at this, need to look at how can we address this, what are the solutions that we can provide against this. But this tool is there. People have access to this machine. So what can we do to counter this narrative to ensure that people get the right information at all times? So I don't know if I've done justice to most of the question. So I hope I didn't miss out any particular one.
If there are very pressing one, I think they will come back. But in the meantime, let me go to our teachers. So, what are your thoughts on AI, texts, laziness, plagiarism, and how do you detect them? I'll begin with Dr. Shaw and then Professor Akinwale.
Thank you. I think, with what Mr. Alade said, that AI, can be used to generate, ideas for you to write. Like if a student has used the information not to generate, but as actual the information of AI, once you go on the system and you put some of the statements or the ideas the guy has written, it brings out quite a whole lot of work because there is a check for that. So it brings out that, and you are able to know that, well, this particular student, is actually cheating, and immediately you can discredit the work the student, has done. And I think AI actually makes students to be lazy as a young student there, because no longer think critically, because what it does actually to most students and to priests and to people who use it is that it weakens the critical thinking skills of people. So you no longer think, you say, okay, I have AI, you just go there. So there is no that personal interaction, of your own contribution and the emotions put, like you make a homily that is strictly straight and uptight for people, and there is no emotion, it's devoid of emotions. So I think we need to check on that. And one person, they're talking of over-dependence on, when I go for spiritual direction, to the priest, and with the use of AI cannot provide what he needs. I think AI also reduces the role and the authority of the priest. And when you're talking about spiritual direction and guidance, actually that's contact, physical contact, is very, very important, in spiritual direction. And when you reduce it just to AI, then it's devoid of that, and you're not getting the true spiritual, effect from it. And see, it creates some echo chambers in the community. When you talk about church, the church is a community. But when people go individually into their home and then they get the spiritual director, then they get all they need for the faith there, that means you are actually replacing human beings with all those machines, and that is very bad. It's not good ethically, and it affects the community building, because when it creates echo chambers, what happens is that people feel isolated, and then it weakens community bond. And the church is supposed to be a community is broken. So you are on your own. We are not connected. So that's happens in the church, and that is not so good for the mission of the church. But I think what the church must do is that the church must provide information, because the church also can feed in information to correct the wrong information that has been fed into this budget. And that's why the church must come into the use of AI, so that the church will generate the truth, the facts about the faith, and the truth is fed into this machine, so that you know where to go to get the correct information that is true for your faith, that will not lead you, astray. So that's why the church cannot stay out of the use of AI. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me begin with this famous saying, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Somebody is feeding this gadget with information. That's the payer of the piper, dictating to you what you are to learn, the knowledge you are to acquire. And by definition, the one who dictates to you what you are to know is a tyrant. So beware of the tyranny of technology here. Regarding plagiarism, I had an experience some years ago of a student who submitted a term paper to me. And as I was reading the term paper, I wrote on the margin, if indeed these ideas are from you, then you are a genius. Well, when I read it up to a point, I just put a phrase. My teacher, late Father Kenny, taught me this. I just put a phrase from that essay into the Google search engine that I found was
dictates the tune. Somebody is feeding this gadget with information.
was
That's the pair of the pipe dictating to you what you are to learn, the knowledge you are to acquire. And by definition,
I googled that
the one who dictates to you what you are to know
page
is a tyrant.
where I found an
So the way of the theme of technology here.
entire essay
Regarding plagiarism, I had an experience some years ago of a student who submitted a term paper to me.
Dominican Institute.
And as I was reading the term paper, I wrote on the margin, if indeed these ideas are from you, then you are a genius.
Journalist said,
Well, when I read it up to a point, I just put a phrase. My teacher, Father Kenny, taught me this. I just put a phrase from that essay
because it is impersonal.
into the Google
During
search engine. What I found was dictates to somebody is feeding these gadgets with information. That's the book pair of the pipe dictating to
lockdown, people may no longer go to church. And I said, no, people will still go to church. You see, when you are hungry, you don't satisfy your hunger by visiting the website of Sheraton Hotel. If I'm hungry and I want to eat pounded yam, which I love so much, I will not go on the website of a restaurant showing me a bowl of pounded yam. That will not satisfy my hunger. I want to eat the real thing. That's the way I look at AI. And, well, I hope I don't sound immodest when I say this. Husband and wife cannot make love on AI. What they see on AI may satisfy somehow their desire for sexual pleasure. But satisfying the desire for sexual pleasure is one thing, making love is another thing. AI Jesus would be for me a heretical way of dealing with what we call Christology. Anybody can feed anything into AI about Jesus. Arius, if he were to come back to life today, would use AI to propagate his doctrine. You know, during the Christological controversy, while the story was that while St. Athanasius was busy writing his orations against the Arians to counter their heresies, Arius put his own doctrine into music, catchy tunes, such that people were singing and enjoying what he had composed.
I want to eat pounded yam, which I love so much. I will not go on the web.
Something that happened the day after he died. Now, Fela once sang Zombie. I think I was in secondary school when he released Zombie. And if you sang it on the streets of Lagos then, soldiers and policemen would pounce on you and beat the living hell out of you. The day after he died, the boss at the Dominican Institute and the station close to us to retrieve the bus. And radio stations around Ibadan were playing Fela's music. When
for me, a heretical
even policemen who would have beaten you up for Zombie started to dance. And I too joined them in dancing. So, there are questions that AI can, and I have here one of the pages of my paper that I didn't read, where Eliot dealt with this question.
The story was that while St. Athanasius was writing his orations against the Arians to counter their heresies, Arius put his own doctrine into music, catchy tunes, such that people were singing and enjoying what he had composed. I want to eat pounded yam, which I love so much. I will not go on the web, something that happened.
This is of the question. When such a prompt or question is detected by the generative AI, either a canned answer is given or some other subtle refusal is emitted. Preaching, still on preaching. One of the things I was taught, when you engage the text of scripture in preparation for preaching, don't begin by reading commentaries. Personally engage the text yourself. Think and pray about it and share with your audience the fruits of your contemplative prayer on that text. Do that before you consult commentaries. If you don't do that, then you are looking for microwave sermons, which may not be the best type of food to serve your audience. Thank you.
Before we continue, on a lighter note, to let us see how algorithm bias has become deeply entrenched. I typed an article, I typed a title of a paper, something that says theological ethical discussion. And I said, suggest another title. And they flagged it. And he said, no, I am not trained to use immodest and improper words. So do you know the word that he found offensive now? Cum used to be, it's a Latin word, but among those who are, cum has turned to, I know, not to sound immodest, so I will not say that, but go and find out why. It says that word, C-U-M, which is a Latin word, has become immodest because it is being used, it is something else now. And that something else is what has been imputed into AI generative text and not the original Latin meaning. So we'll take another round of questions. We start from up and then we come down. APC from top to bottom.
All right, we will not forget to recognize the presence of Christ the King College, Gogolada. They were also here with us, and the National Association of Catholic Corps members. They call themselves COPAS. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Iftezo Chukwemeka Emmanuel, and I'm from CIS International School. So my question is that how does AI contradict morality and religion? And also, how does AI have human and sensitive dependence? Because AI is one of the most important things that everybody pour out their hope into. So if this AI isn't well cultured, don't you think that all the whole civilians pour out their hope? Pour out their hope into. So if this AI isn't well cultured, don't you think that all the whole civilians pour out their hope?
Wrong ideas, attitudes based on the innovators. So what should be done to correct these ideas?
Good afternoon. I'm a student from CKC, Gwagwalada. What do you mean when you say that there is nothing on the internet that's morally mortal? Neutral, I mean to say.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am a student of Louisville Girls Secondary School, Gwagwalada, Abuja. So my question is that AI, as it said now, you can't completely stop the use, and no matter what, we can't change the way we use and then the results that AI and AI-based apps were put there by human beings. So what is the assurance that if more religious people should venture into the use of AI and then put more religious-based information on AI websites, what is the percentage of impact that we receive? Like what percentage, what will be the difference now and later? Because those people that put the information there, maybe their intention wasn't bad. So if more religious-based information is put on the AI, what is the assurance that there will be a very great impact and difference?
Okay, thank you. I think we can come down now. Yeah, I think you got the question. It was directed the question morally neutral. So I get the point. So let's come down now. Well, we're running out of time.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Francis Onoha, representing the Sion Sengrebe chaplaincy of this Kali Secretariat of Nigeria. My question goes straight to the keynote presenter, Reverend Father Professor Akinwale. To say that nothing is intelligent in that which is artificial is just like saying that intelligence is not artificial. And you also made mention that if it is intelligent, then it is not artificial. And if it is artificial, it is not intelligence. My question then is, when you also made a touch of your words, you say that prudence can be the only method to be used. If you use AI without prudence, it can be a problem. So can you elaborate more on the prudence so that it will not have any negative effect when making use of the AI, considering the ecclesiology and the Christology aspects of the church? Thank you.
My name is Ian Peter, and I'm from SSM and Jude Minor Seminary, Kuje. My question goes to Father Anthony Akinwale. Father, you talked about magisterium AI. So how does magisterium AI make theological context in the Bible more understandable to Catholics than theologians who have spent more time to study severely on each word of the verses written? And also, magisterium AI more understandable in terms of converting message of the gospel? Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. I'm from Handmaid's Girls Secondary School, Kuje. This question is directed to Sister Florence Osho. She spoke about Christians stroke Catholics having difficulties believing in AI because they think it's immunical. So those of us Catholics/Christians that believe in AI without doubting, does it mean we have...
It is very helpful to the educator as well as to the students.
And that's the last one I'm going to take.
Of artificial intelligence to include
I will ask our revered or signal is
automating administration.
Ends our discussion. So that's the last one I'm going to take.
Okay. Good day, everyone. My name is Akachukwu Oreki. I'm a 300 level student at Veritas University. Father Anthony today, he mentioned that man's greatest desire is to attain the highest good. And it has also been mentioned by a panelist that AI is much more a tool and that we should not fear it. Now, my question is, how do we balance the use of AI to our human-to-human communication? Because humans are have this thing where they get information and then there's a way that they interpret it. And that is why we have different religions, obviously. So how do we balance use of AI and then...
In spite of distance physical constraint, especially through the cloud.
Last final word. You don't want to get... Okay. I said it to my... Okay. The chair.
attribution and
lots more.
funny enough, I work for the telecom regulator, Nigerian Communications Commission. And the issue of regulating technology is a big challenge to us. Now we're talking about artificial intelligence. How do we manage the deep fake in artificial intelligence? When you will bring, let's just paint it
the machines.
Somebody will now bring our cardinal and put, you know it's not the cardinal, and put somebody that looks exactly like the cardinal and he's preaching against Christ. How do you manage it? Because it's a problem. Even the International Telecommunications Union has set up a study group to study how to regulate the artificial intelligence. Because if we are not careful, because we're talking about evangelization with artificial intelligence, if we are not careful, if it's not being regulated, artificial intelligence can psych. It can psych our younger generation. And we, at the end of the day, we won't know what we have done to ourselves. So my question to our dear prof is, on which way, because we cannot avoid artificial intelligence, how do we now regulate it? What are your recommendations on the way you think it can be regulated? Thank you very much.
So, I think we have a couple of questions this time to Professor Akinwale. Magisterium AI, how effective is it? There is one to Sister Osho. Is the use and the
Affecting some of the remaining revision time.
The last one. But general don't fear to use AI and then regulate
this paragraph can be simplified.
How do you know?
Grammarly can paraphrase this by using the improve it prompt, all while maintaining your voice and keeping your work sounding professional.
So let's begin with
awesome. Let's wrap this thesis up with a neat and tidy works cited
with
page.
the last one, because I love to engage government in this country, particularly government parastatals. And let me say, I am totally unimpressed by what the parastatal you say you represent does. It's not a personal attack, but it's not your fault as such. It's because government in Nigeria and in many African countries treats the citizen with utter disrespect. And so agencies of government, whether you are talking of a regulatory body or you are talking of the police or the army, since they are agents of a government that has no respect for the citizen, they don't treat us with respect. Meanwhile, a huge chunk of our annual budget is used to service these parastatals. Having said that, what is to be done? Good laws. Now, who makes the laws? The legislative arm of government. Is there any member of the legislative arm of government in this gathering today? Were they invited? They take us for granted. If they wanted our votes, they would have been here. Yes, he was invited. He didn't turn up. He didn't send a representative. And I used my lunch to bet, Father Mike, that he didn't send an explanation to you. That's why I say I used my lunch to bet. It is utter disrespectful. Why is this happening? Because they don't depend on your votes. People, we employ them in a truly representative democracy. We use our votes to employ them. But as soon as they get into office, the employer becomes the boss. The employee becomes the boss of the employer. I would have expected that not only the president of our Senate, but the legislative arm of government in this country would be properly represented in this gathering. But they are busy. Now, to talk of good laws, a law, let me communicate Catholic philosophy of law here. A law is an ordinance of reason promulgated for the sake of the common good. But we all know in Nigeria that laws are not promulgated, and even when they are promulgated, they are not for the common good, they are for the selfish interest of the legislator. That's the predicament in which we find ourselves. We need laws to regulate every sector of our life. But we must differentiate between regulation and stifling. Because if we don't do that, the philosopher Nietzsche wrote in his book, Genealogy of Morals, that morality is the legislation of the powerful. If it is not made in accordance with reason, it will be made in accordance with the selfish interest of the legislator, and it will be used to oppress. So in the name of regulating cyberspace, we stifle legitimate dissent. And when legitimate dissent is stifled, democracy is confined to a casket, even if it's still there. So, madam, please go back and conceive good laws that regulate this sector, not laws that are made to favor the lawmaker, not laws that are made to stifle freedom of expression. I know there have been attempts to do that. I think there is a law being debated right now so that we are compelled to keep quiet when those who are supposed to represent us in government begin to misbehave. That is no regulation. That is stifling legitimate dissent. So I'm happy that you're here, madam, and that you are playing a leading role here. Good laws. The question of magisterium AI, actually, that expression did not come from me. I don't know if it came from Archbishop Ugoji or from, okay. But all the same, I will address it. When you talk of the magisterium, it is the teaching office. It's a teaching office. You have the magisterium of pastors, of the Pope, of the bishops, and in theology we also speak of the magisterium of doctors. Teaching office that is referred to as magisterium. When you talk of magisterium AI, it is the teaching office putting its teaching, making its teaching available by way of, well, I'm forced to use that expression again, by way of artificial intelligence. No problem about that. The problem is not the medium of communicating teaching. The problem is the rightness or wrongness of the teaching. And I also say the same thing about the use of AI regarding prudence. Prudence is right reason in doing things. It's about the right way of using AI, and the right way of using AI is to use it to promote human dignity, solidarity, common good. Anything that is at odds with human dignity, anything that is at odds with solidarity, with the common good, should not be placed in the hands of AI. In the final analysis, it is not AI that contradicts morality. It is the way it is used. It is the use of AI that may be moral or immoral. AI is good in itself. AI is good, but it can be used for what is at odds with goodness. Thank you.
Just to add my voice to what Professor Kimale just said, that AI does not contradict morality or religion on its own because it is neutral. People could use AI immorally or unethically. Like example Madam gave, somebody using the face. Thank you. Somebody preaching or talking about the faith and saying wrong thing about the faith and using the face of an archbishop. That's the wrong use of AI, and which could mislead other people. So it's not in AI itself. It doesn't on its own. It does not contradict. So, but I think on this, the church can provide ethical guidance and, moral guidance for people so that AI will be correctly used without misleading other people. And talking about the use of it could dehumanize people. These are things that the church can watch over to make sure that it's not used to dehumanize human beings. Some machines are used to replace human being, and that is ethically wrong actually. This person, whether in no, please. What I'm trying to say, I was only trying to kind of encourage those Christians that are slow in embracing because they are afraid. So that's what I was trying to say. So, my dear, you are not committing anything that we are using AI, you have embraced it. It is good. The church encourages us, to move on with technology. So don't be afraid to use it, but pay attention to what the church is saying, the guidance of the church in the use of AI, so that you are not misled. Thank you.
Before the moderator comes over to the podium, I want to humbly introduce Monsignor Professor Mike Sasa. He is the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Veritas University. Can we put our hands together? And I thank God that Veritas students didn't protest that one of their own was not introduced.
Okay, before I
thank you.
I crave your indulgence to give the mic to Professor Sasa. We've listened to the youth today, and an elder should speak. So, Professor Sasa, your intervention, please. And that will close what I want to say. Please, but be brief, but because I'll be standing there. As soon as we finish, I'm going to make my closing remarks. So, I'm actually giving you my time.
Thank you.
I want to stand on the existing protocol and to thank Father Umo for giving us the opportunity to deliberate on this issue, which is burning. It's a burning issue. I want to think outside the box. And I crave your indulgence to do this so that we don't end up treating symptoms in place of the sickness. And I ask myself, we talk of AI. Well, it is AI today. Vis-a-vis technology. We are not asking what lies behind all this. Why did all this come up? Time past, we're talking of globalization. And if you have gone through the text of globalization, you will see that it is multifaceted. So many areas. In the past culture, we didn't have people who lacked profession. But most of those professions are filtering away. Today, very many people don't even visit barber shop. We have this machine for trimming your hair, so you don't go to barber shop anymore. Photography. We used to have stadium, so many shops where you will find written photographer shop. Today your phone does it. Very soon we will have people who have no job really, because most jobs are now being taken up technologically. Now, what lies behind all this? The church must, as is accustomed, to go ahead of time. Somebody made mention of philosophy, asking what lies behind things. Very true. It is the area of metaphysics where you talk of the tableness of the table. The table itself is visible, but we want to know the tableness of the table. That which makes table, table. You talk of the human being. The being there has a lot of significance for metaphysics. The being of the being, that is the product of the being, which is the origin of the original being and the supreme being, that is the answer to all beings. This is the area of metaphysics. And then we ask, what lies behind all this? Globalization. Like I said, it's multifaceted. Where are we going with all this? About 3 weeks ago, there was a talk now of post-human race. Post-human race. Does that imply that a time will come when no human being will exist anymore? We are moving towards that. And it's all enveloped in globalization. The whole idea of a woman marrying woman is all within it. A man marrying man is all within it. What do you need next, other than telling us that they want to face away human beings? A man marrying man, what can that produce? A woman marrying woman, what can that produce? Apart from wanting to trim down human population, we are tending towards extinction. And we are seeing this in writing. We are seeing this in discussions. What is behind all this? I want to implore maybe universities, Father Umar himself, maybe to organize, or who will organize, to ask ourselves what lies behind all this, so that we can really get the gem and know what we are tending towards. The one we have discussed today is the surface. What lies on the surface that we are seeing? But what is behind it? And unfortunately, we know today the Illuminati have been fingered as a group wanting to do away with all values. But by the time it's just Illuminati among others, the real personalities behind this are faceless. We talk of Bill Gates. Look at the last pandemic. They have told us now clearly there's going to be another pandemic in 2025. And it's going to be more serious. Which means the pandemic that is coming and the previous one are all man-made. So what is the idea behind all this? And the same people will produce vaccines. We must buy to survive. And again, they commercialize our. What is the idea behind all this? It is a question I'm asking and I'm throwing open. May God help us the way we are going. Thank you.
As a, what do you call me, special guest of honor.
to thank my picking here because I can warn you. Thank you, first of all, for your presentation. As you can see, you resonated very clearly. More than professor. Not to talk of the last professor who was explaining what the pain is in the pain that will be next to the pain. No, but not only for what you, the way you, the message you brought us, but for also accepting to come and join this discussion. Why I'm standing up is that when you were talking, it's really a challenge to the church. But as you know, Christian church is a very variegated entity. But the issue you raise concerns all churches, which means that we must have to find a way of dealing with the question you raised about putting content into the AI that will be in line with our own needs. But brings us to what our president of conference raised with regard to magisterium AI. I picked my paper. You don't have this, you didn't have this paper. Let me read the sentence that is important. Likewise, it is instructive to note the advent of AI, a technology created by and uniquely tailored for the Catholic Church. The exclusive application of technology in religious formation, pastoral care, education, making theological knowledge more accessible and enhancing the church's mission more than ever before. So, my question then is, if the church at the highest level is taking of magisterial AI, one of the reasons why we are gathered, we need at least the CBCN AI or station can AI. And I think this kind of thing is best if we work together because the expertise is across the board. Father Sanjumi, you will need, where is he? Father Sanjumi, you and Mike will have to please keep this thing in our discussion of the Bishops' Conference, and we can reach out to different levels. And I think it will be wonderful if we have a Nigerian Christian AI, where everything you want to know about the Christian church in Nigeria, you can get it. Thank you, moderator.
Consist. Our revered patriarchs and church fathers, our wonderful panelists, the fathers of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I think the day has been well spent. And this is my concluding remarks by way of what we can take home. In the postscript of this lecture, Professor Akinwale suggests that we must be guided by Sapientia mindset in our use of AI. And more importantly, that's the best way for us to live. Those words of Father Akinwale echoes Pope Francis' message to the 2024 World Day of Communication, where the Holy Father emphasizes AI and the wisdom of the heart. The wisdom of the heart. Imagine a future where faith can reach across the global divide, creating digital neighborliness. By harnessing the power of AI, I believe we can all cultivate a vibrant online presence that bridges the gap, fostering a truly global Catholicism. And this is not just about technological advancement. It is about harnessing the potential of artificial intelligence to spread the message of hope and faith to a world that is direly in need of connection. However, and that's what has resounded in this hall throughout the morning and this afternoon, that progress requires wisdom. Progress requires wisdom. And as Pope Francis reminds us in his message for the 2024 World Day of Communication, the key word is the wisdom of the heart. We must integrate artificial intelligence into Christian values, ensuring that technology serves humanity and strengthens our connection to the divine. Let us not simply chase after technology, but let us embrace those technological innovations with a discerning heart, guided by faith and ethics. It's been wonderful piloting this and having this discussion with you today, and I hope that we'll carry that discussion to our various apartments and offices and schools. Once again, thank you for joining us in this lively conversation, and hope to see you again next year. God bless you.
Thank you. While the director is doing his subsigning, let me make some few announcements that the communication week is still ongoing. It started last Sunday, and the director was in Benin, which was flagged off by the Archbishop of Benin, Most Reverend Augustine Kubeze. It will be concluded on Sunday with the Bishop Chairman on social communications at St. John's Catholic Parish in Mararaba on Sunday. Meanwhile, the conversation on AI is still ongoing. It's a one-week program. If you look at the brochure that you are holding, it continues in parishes and other institutions of the Catholic Church, and you can follow that conversation. The time is fast spent. May I now invite the convener of this public lecture and the director, national director for that matter, of social communications, Very Reverend Father Michael Sikak Umo, PhD, for his vote of thanks. Thank you.
Go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph Ishu Fish, our MC for the day. My duty is to give the vote of thanks, and you'll permit me say 3 things as information we need to take away before that very short vote of thanks. The first, please, my dear friends, is to thank very, very sincerely His Eminence, very, very sincerely, for all the role you played concerning this program, and for highlighting the issue of the Magisterium AI that passed in the President's paper, which is very, very important. My dears, kindly note, because there's been a lot of question, what is the church doing? The church has to act. Perhaps this is one of the areas we can say the church acted very fastly regarding communications in the present age. There got to a time the church started distancing from anything communications or media, as it were. So let me just refer us. When you get home, write this. You Google, download Magisterium AI. It is precisely a website that is still being developed, but it's already active. Magisterium AI. That is an exclusive AI effort by the Catholic Church, not even Christianity. And only Catholic documents is being stored in this website. So when you have anything concerning the Catholic Church, go there and you can be sure of what you will get from there. So it helps catechists, those who are in charge of moral or catechetical instruction in schools or in parishes or whatever, researchers, teachers in the Catholic institutions. So that is our own one of our own very special tools and response to Magisterium AI, kindly, or to AI generally. There is a word, secondly, I will wish that we take away from here in addition to the wealth of knowledge we have gained from all our resource persons. And the word is hallucination. Hallucination in the context of artificial intelligence is this. Just as has been said, it is said that AI will answer every question, and that is true. The problem with AI is that AI is not modest. AI is not, AI is proud. AI will never tell you, I don't know, but it will give you an answer, and the answer can be wrong. So when it comes to hallucination, that's what it means, that AI will hallucinate, just give you an answer. So at times, try AI on some things you are very sure of and see the type of answer it will give you. So we must avoid hallucination. When it comes to our religion, when you use Magisterium AI, we are able to avoid hallucination. 3, deepfake, which is the topic for our Comweek tomorrow. Deepfake. Deepfake is to artificial intelligence what fake news is to social media. But deepfake is a more serious problem, very terrible problem, and it is causing a lot of issues in the world, a lot of problems in the world. Students, please take note of deepfakes. Deepfakes is used by clever people, but instead of using the technology for positive thing, they use it to cause troubles. So keep away from deepfakes, and that should also make us weary that not everything we see on the social media or in the media is true. So always ask those 5 critical questions, and that's another assignment I give you. Please go and check what are the 5 critical questions of media literacy. Media literacy, the 5 critical questions. That was generated by the Center for Media Literacy based in Canada, and it is spreading everywhere now. There are 5 critical questions your generation, everyone, must try to be asking concerning every media text. Some of those issues have been raised here. Then, please kindly take this number I will give you now, because this number will connect you, and we are using you all as disciples of the church, disciples, media disciples. We want you to share this number with your friends the way they share things with you. And the number is 090 6000 6198. Is 090 6000 6198. Please, what you do with this number is to simply, preferably through WhatsApp, or if it's SMS, send add me. If you send add me to this number, you will be added to our broadcast platform, and everything Catholic in the Catholic Church in Nigeria, you will always be able to get. And we are really begging you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others. And we want to believe you have registered already, so we will send you all the materials of this program. So, Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, through my Bishop Chairman, Most Reverend David Ajang, and the Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, I wish to thank our loving Father for making this day such a beautiful reality. May all the praise and glory be to Him now and forever. Special honor to our Blessed Mother, to whom we devote this entire month for her unceasing intercession. I thank you, Your Eminence. I thank you, Your Excellencies. I thank you, our distinguished guests, Father and Mother of the Day. I thank you, our very learned resource persons, our Secretary General, my fellow priests working here at the Catholic Secretariat, and all other priests here. I thank you, my dear Reverend Sisters, all of you working here at the Catholic Secretariat, and all others here, all staff of Catholic Secretariat and its affiliates, our seminarians, the MC, all of you very distinguished participants, and our very loving students. Thank you for coming. Let me also thank those who supported this program in one way or the other. All our sponsors, our benefactors, organizations and individuals who stood by us. All the members of the planning committee, headed by our chairperson, Lady Ogo Okori, and the chairman, Sir Tony Chiejine. I thank all security personnel and all who provided various services towards the success of this event. May God bless and reward you all most abundantly. If I have inadvertently failed to include you in this gratitude, may God Himself reward you more than the rest of us. Once again, thank you very, very much, and may God bless you all.
When you thank people, you forget to thank yourself. So I will thank Father Mo. May I now take the microphone to the Prince of the Church.
Okay. Before we go, we have some certificates for all the schools participating, and that will be presented by. This will be presented by our Bishop Chairman and the Cardinal. Your Eminence, please. You kindly come. Please come. We call the school, representative of the school, 2, 3 may come so that I can snap good picture. And what do we think? Immaculate School and convents, every group is represented here. I hope the ones that are called first are still around. St. Augustine College, Mararaba, are you here? Representative St. Augustine College, please decide quickly those who will come on your behalf. While they are coming, Regina Patches College, Garuki, please come forward. Regina, we prefer the students, not the teachers, please. Students. Sorry about that. Thank you. 2 or 3 students can come very quickly. Regina Patches. Holy Family College, Kuje, are you there? Sure, there is. All right, thank you. Please put your hands together for them. Thank you for coming. St. Augustine, please come forward. St. Augustine College, Mararaba. Thank you. Holy Family College, Kuje, please come forward. SS Simon and Jude Minor Seminary, start coming forward, please. SS Minor, come. Call Maria College, Gariki, please come forward. My SG, please, kindly step forward, please. Secretary General, please come. Thank you. SS. Your face. Thank you. Call Maria College, come forward. Newville Girls Secondary School, Bagwalada, please come forward. Newville. Newville. Immaculate Heart Sisters, Kuje, please come forward. Chairperson. Kuje 1. Immaculate Heart Sisters, Kuje 1. Immaculate Heart Sisters, Kuje 2. Immaculate Heart Sisters, Kuje 2. Chinakwe International School, please start coming forward. It seems you are upstairs. Chinakwe. Christ the King College, Babalada. Sanctus Lumen Christi Schools, do remain. Christ the King, come forward, please. Sanctus Lumen Christi, follow, please. Rex Christus College, Kubwa, get up and start coming, please. All right, next. Okay, Christ the King, next. Christ the King, then Rex Christus College, Veritas University, please come forward. Rex Christus. No. Rex Christus. Veritas, please come forward. Veritas, come forward. National Association of Coppers, please come forward. Coppers, Copper Shaw. Daughters of Divine Love, Gariki, please come forward. Daughters of Divine Love. Coppers. Eucharistic Heart Sisters, Kubwa, please come forward. National Missionary Seminary of St. Paul, Babalada, please come forward. Eucharistic Heart Sisters, Kubwa, they are coming. Okay, the couples were upstairs. This is the seminary. Please come. All right, National Missionary, please move. Okay. All right, National Coppers, Association of Catholic Coppers, well done. Thank you, good to see you. CWO, CMO, Sion Archdiocese, please come forward. CMO, CWO, Sion Archdiocese, please come forward. If you are there. There were 3 schools that called us this morning. Can those schools please come forward now? The 3 schools can come forward. Notre Dame and 3 schools that called us this morning. Please come. Please come forward. When you come, we'll get your name. No. The plain words. What's your school again? Notre Dame. Notre Dame, yes. And I think Notre Dame is Gwagwalada also. Okay. Kuje? Oh, sorry. What's your name? Handmade Girls. Where? Kuje? Yeah, that's another Kuje. Kujecious. We have many schools in Kuje. And the third group, none. The father of the we have many schools in Kuje. And the third group, none. The father of the
Your words, you say that prudence has been the only method to be used. If you use AI without prudence, it can be a problem. So can you elaborate more on the prudence so that it will not have any negative effects when you use of the AI, considering the ecclesiology and the Christology aspects of the church? Thank you.
My name is Peter, and I'm from SSM minus Seminary, Virginia. My question goes to Father Anthony Akinwale. Father, you talked about magisterial AI. So how does magisterial AI make theological context in the Bible more understandable to Catholics than theologists who have spent more time to study severely on each word of the verses written? And also, magisterial AI more understandable in terms of converting message of the gospel. Thank you.
Good afternoon all. I'm from Handmaid's Girls Secondary School, Kuje. This question is directed to Sister Florence Osho. She spoke about Christians, Catholics having difficulties believing in AI because they think it's